cooperative model to build green and smart housing in some African countries. Following his nomination and award as Forbes' Best of Africa leading investment coach and real estate mogul last month in London, Dr. Akintayo is currently on his Africa book tour signing. Joining us now from Dubai is Dr. Stephen Akintayo, Chairman GTEx Holdings. Great to have you once again, and congratulations on your Forbes Award. Cooperatives are a concept that is almost as old as time. What is the difference about your digital cooperative model? Let's talk about this.
Thank you for having me. Actually, I'm joining from Mauritius.
Mauritius. Sorry.
It's good to be here again. Yes, it's good to be here again. So the digital cooperative is something that is not new, but because of technology, if you run a cooperative society, if you don't leverage on the digital, you will not be able to connect as many people as possible. Usually, cooperative have to have physical meetings, and now everybody's doing Zoom meetings and things like that. So the digital has enabled us to have cooperative systems where people from different parts of the world can be part of that cooperative and can work together to build something huge. But what's unique that we're bringing to it is the fractional real estate model, where if you can afford to buy a house, for example, worth $500,000, you can have 20 people actually own that house worth $500,000. And then the rental income from it, they are being able to share it among those 20 people who owns that property. So with this model, we're getting to invest in real estate across Africa. And of course, it's owned by members of those cooperatives, and they're able to get returns on investment on the proceed from the real estate asset. So this is a new model. We've started it in a small way in Nigeria, where we've been able to raise a couple of millions of dollars for some of what we do in Nigeria at the moment. And we felt we could expand that across Africa. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of it.
All right, we look forward to it as well. So $100 million seems like a lot of money. Are you confident, Dr. Akintayo, that investors will be willing to be part of this? Also, what manner of investors are you looking out for?
Well, yes, $100 million is a lot, but we're trying to raise that between 5 to 10 years. And if you look at diaspora remittance in Nigeria alone, it's over $20 billion annually. Now, if you look at diaspora remittance across Africa, now you're looking at something way higher, probably up to $100 billion on a yearly basis. So if you're trying to raise just $100 million and you have a goal of between 5 to 10 years to raise that, that's definitely possible. Of course, what is then needed is ability to be able to market properly, to be able to have people see what is being built, what is being done, and of course, convincing Africans that is what investing back at home, which has been the major problem. You know, people are asking themselves, should we invest back at home? Can we trust the system back at home? Are we sure it's going to work? But my argument has always been nobody will develop Africa but you and I. GTEx is in Dubai, is in US, is in UK. And we're all seeing that it's not easy doing business in those places as well. Particularly if you look at Africans in diaspora in the Western world, what they are having to pay in taxes, and even in real estate tax as well, it favors them a lot more to invest back at home. And we've seen India do that. India is evolving day by day, largely because of Indians in diaspora coming back, investing back in their country, and it's changing the shape of India. And I think it will happen in Africa as well.
Well, let me ask you, your interests have been more outside Africa than within, including places like Europe, North America, and the Middle East. Why do you focus on Africa now?
Well, so I'm happy we explored outside Africa because it helped us to know what was the edge, what's the strength of the Western world. And we're not stopping that. We're going to be doing a lot of acquisition in the US next year. Huge in terms of what we're doing. We're setting up a fund in the US as well. Each fund is $99 million in the US next year. And we're going to be doing massive investment in the US as well. So we're not stopping. But that exposure has opened us to the fact that Africa isn't that bad. I was sharing with somebody, I said, if not for the automation, a lot of the other countries we've worked in is probably worse than Nigeria. It's just that those places are automated. So, things has to be done, by the books because the system captures everything. So Africa has its own challenges, but it's not that bad. And if it's going to get better, we have to find a way to look inwards and develop her. We're all arguing, the last interview you guys just had is about how we feel the West is exploiting Africa, how Russia is coming in, China is coming in. There's no way people will not continue to exploit us as long as we refuse to develop our own, right? Because there's no way a foreigner will come to your country and develop and keep their money with your country. That's not how it works. A foreigner develop your country or invest in your country, the goal is to pick the profit and take it back to where it's coming from. But if we begin to invest back, we are from here. Our money has to stay here. So I think for me, and the book tour is also opening my eyes to a lot of amazing opportunity. I was in Ghana, 2 months back, Cameroon, we did Zambia. Zambia is almost like a Wakanda of some sort. Really beautiful. Their currency is just 20 to $1. Kenya. And then this leg of the tour, we're doing Uganda and Mauritius, we're doing Rwanda. We still did Kenya as well. And then we're doing South Africa later in the year. So it's opening me up to the fact that there's so much potential. It's beautiful. A lot of what we run to the Western world for, if we develop here, we'll even get way better than those places as well.
All right. So, what are the countries, the African countries you're planning to build, this green smart homes in? And I know you've talked about a potpourri of other countries, you've talked about Kenya, but also vis-a-vis the local conditions in Kenya. Kenya has got revenue problems as we speak. They've also got debt problems that occasion the economic protest. There's unrest in Kenya. Is it an ideal environment to put money in now with all of that going on in Kenya, and some other parts of, Eastern Africa? And the challenge that capital has always been the problem on the African continent. And so I'll give you an instance. When you talk about $100 million, you talked about your fund in America, $99 million. I'm like, good on you, easy stuff in America. Because, what's it called? Apple cap, for instance, market capitalization of Apple is about 3.14 trillion. So, but you can't say the same in Africa. What's your take on that?
No, I agree. You're very correct, Rufai. I think we have that capital issue. But you see, our opportunity, and that's why we're using the cooperative model. Our strength is our number, locally and in diaspora, and the revenue is there. The problem is, how do we get the trust of, for example, you say Kenya, how many Kenyans are in diaspora? And they are yearning to invest back at home. They come for vacation, every December. Same thing in Ghana. So the countries we're looking at Ghana, we're looking at Zambia. Zambia, definitely. You have the Victoria Falls, Zambezi River, a lot of beautiful places in Zambia. We're looking at Kenya and, recently considering Uganda as well. So we're looking at starting with those 4 for now. But the truth is that for us, it's using the cooperative model and being able to convince Africans in diaspora that we need to come back home. We need to invest back home. We're very confident the money will come. Look at what's happening in Ghana, for example. Every December, you have this year of return. a lot of even those who are not even Ghanaians, a lot of African Americans who did DNA tests and discovered they are even blacks, from maybe West Africa, even when they are not sure it's Ghana, they're going. By the way, that's another thing I think we need to find a way to do in Nigeria, some sort of year of return.
All right.
For Nigerians in the diaspora to come back home and leverage on Afrobeat, our music. But we believe we can raise it using the cooperative model.
All right, excellent. So earlier on, Rufai had congratulated you on your Forbes Award. Can you tell us a bit more about your recent Forbes Best of Africa Leading Investment Coach and Real Estate Mogul Award? What does it mean for you?
Well, I'm really humbled. When I got the nomination, I was shocked because, again, this is somebody who was born in Maiduguri, in one of those villages, no electricity, no running water. I remember still struggling to spell the word THE in JSS1. And started a company with just $10 15 years ago. And to be here is really humbling. Everyone just kept saying, but you're young. I said, but I started early as well, and I've been through a lot. So it's really humbling to be here, and it's encouraging. These are part of the reasons why we feel that we could expand, and we could expand, beyond just Nigeria and, the Western world. Why not look inwards? There's so much potential with our people. It's not going to be easy. We're not expecting it to be easy. But we believe that if we go into each country and partner with the people, and that's part of what the book signing has been doing. A lot of the meetings I've been having, amazing Africans who are excited to see their own African brother trying to expand to their country. And we believe that if we partner with each country, with the people, and they are the ones even investing in their own country as well, I see something greater happening. And I just dedicate it to God, to investors we have, to everyone. In Africa, it says, it takes a village to raise a child. So this is really an award for everyone who has been part of our success, including Arise Television, sharing our story all the time.
Anyway, quickly, you've told us about the book tour, and I know you've written quite a number of books. Which of your books are you promoting at this moment? Tell us about the book. Okay,
so we have the Billionaire Habit. I think Dr. Abati has that. I didn't know whether he was able to read it, but I know you have a copy. And then we had the Billionaire Code. That came out after. And so this year we had 3 more that came out: the Billionaire Habit for entrepreneurs, Billionaire Habit for pastors. We had to do one for pastors because of, you and I know what's going on with accusation of pastors extorting members. I felt like they have the habits of how they can make money legitimately. They should be able to do that. Maybe we'll do one Billionaire Habit for politicians so they stop stealing our money. And then we had the Billionaire Land Banker sharing about principles of targeting the right land to buy and leaving the land for a while and see the land appreciates. Just teach a certain basic principle about real estate investing. So we decided to do a series of all those 5. And that's the 5 books we've been touring.
All right. So how many countries have you visited so far, and what are the other expectations? And with the advent of this new administration, and new economic policy coming up, do you consider it favorable enough for the real estate sector of Nigeria?
Okay, so we did Ghana, Cameroon, Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, stay in Kenya yesterday. And then now Mauritius, we're doing Rwanda, South Africa. Of course, like I said earlier, we're looking at expanding into these African countries to start green and smart homes. More expansion in the US as well. In terms of the new administration, I see a lot of potential. The current president understands real estate, being the governor of Lagos. He was able to raise the IGR of the states, and real estate was critical in that growth. We pray we won't have too much taxes, but I think there will be good policies that will help the real estate sector under the current administration. We hope so. We're just hopeful.
All right, we keep hope alive. So going forward, what plans do GTEx have to cushion, or does GTEx have to cushion the effects on its clients, agents, and developers?
Well, so one of the things we're doing is to do a lot of automation. We have something called GTEx and Associates, which is a group of agents. We have about 15,000 of them at the moment, but we realize that sometimes without proper training, you end up creating crisis for yourself with the agency program. So now we're structuring it where people register properly, they even pay, and then we're creating an academy. We're trying to acquire, though I won't disclose detail of that yet because we've not concluded. We're trying to acquire a UK college, the UK licensed college, to begin to also help give diploma and master's, courses and certification to a lot of brokers.
All right.
So they really understand how to do real estate at a global level.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Hope you enjoy Mauritius and all the best with your book tour and, of course, your plans for GTEx Holdings. It's time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we'll have Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni join us to review top stories in today's newspaper.